You are greatly welcome to today's episode of Future Setters Institute Youth Development, a great program for young persons to build them on so many great things. We've been doing this since February, and it has really been a very great journey, bringing great minds in what they do. Today, we sincerely apologize for not starting by 3 p.m. because we start by, but today something very, something that you cannot avoid came up. So we do see everyone who has been waiting. This is your moment to learn from us and with us. Yeah, today's topic is one that is filled with a lot of questions and filled with business in our organization, which has to do with magnetic leadership, which you need to listen to this if you are the kind of person that has not really built that form of leadership. You also need to listen to this. You also need to see
Victor, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think your connection might not be very
and
strong.
listen to us while we interact on this great topic. And that leader that people will always reach out to whenever there's a challenge. Maybe there's any challenge, person with a lot of wisdom. She's filled with a lot of insight. She's a does. And we decided that let's reach out to her. Let's bring her up to come and share a wealth of experience with us. Yes. So we are highly welcome, great woman, Charlotte Kemp. You are great.
Victor, thank you very much.
Hope you are doing very good today.
I think, yes, I'm doing very well. I think there might be a little bit of a lag in our internet connection, but thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. You are welcome. You are welcome. So today's topic is centered on magnetic leadership. I know you have a lot to share with the great audience out there.
Thank you.
Awesome. So we're going to be interacting on this topic. I'm going to interact on this topic. So I would love to know how or what you feel about leadership. How do you define leadership in your own terms? Let's get to know about your own view of leadership.
All right, thank you. I know we've titled this magnetic leadership, but there's different styles of leadership. And because I'm a futurist and because you are future setters and you're looking towards the future, we need to look at how the style of leadership changes. So in the past, leadership, they used to call it command and control. The person at the top knew everything and told everybody else what to do. That is an old-fashioned style of leadership. And anyone who wants to grow and develop and move into the future with, I don't want to get too political, but with good intentions into the future, we don't want that command and control approach anymore. We do still see it today, but we see it in places where there is fear or control, or like militaries. You can't have a democracy in a military. The people in charge are telling you what to do. But for ourselves, when we're looking at leadership as we're growing in society and in business, leadership is not telling other people what to do. Real leadership is working with a group of people so that you can all achieve something greater than you could have done on your own. So sometimes that means that the leader is upfront and speaking and people are looking at the leader. Sometimes it means that the leader is behind the team, helping the team to move forward. So my definition of leadership would be someone who is intentional about helping a group of people to move forward to do something greater than what they could have done on their own. Certainly greater than what the leader could have done on their own.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. So a leader is not the one in charge. A leader needs to understand that people put him there, and he has to be responsible to those persons. A leader has to accept responsibilities in anything. Yes, he has to share, delegate roles to people. So he should
Yes.
not feel that, yes, I'm the one in command, I'm the one with the money, then I'm not accountable. I'm not accountable. So a leader is someone
Yes.
that is, yes, we should be accountable for whatever thing, whatever position we are given. A leader is the person that, yes, I know that I owe people regard and respect. So I should
Mm.
be focused on that aspect. Once more, it's a very great start.
Thank
Very
you.
great start. So I would love to ask another question. Another question.
Yes.
This question is one that is a bit funny, a bit interesting,
Hmm.
and yeah, a lot of people will be surprised, amazed by the question. Are leaders born or made? And how can one build true leadership? Are leaders born or made? And how can one build true leadership?
All right. Yes, I think people are still debating that, and will always debate. Are leaders born or made? Um, I think that there are some people who are naturally good leaders, people who are prepared to take, like you said, the accountability and the responsibility for leading a group of people, or doing a project, or going into politics and doing things. There are some people who are happy to do that, happy to be upfront. So I'm a futurist, but also a professional speaker. I am very happy to stand up on a stage in front of people, or to be in front of a camera in front of virtual people. I can do that naturally, but it's also a skill that I develop. So I was comfortable doing it before, but now it's something that I work on so that I'm better and better at doing this. There are lots of people who are really bad public speakers. They don't want to, they do not want to be in front of an audience. They don't like that. So if there was a crisis, a person could stand up and be a public speaker because they needed to be in that moment, or for that crisis, or for that reason. But the minute that that's over, then they're going to step back, and they don't want to do that again. Please, please let me never do that again. Whereas other people are naturally good. So I think the same sort of thing happens with leaders. There are people who are naturally good leaders. There are people who want to be better leaders, so they learn the skills, they develop it. We'll talk about developing it now, building leadership. Um, and there are other people who will stand up when they need to and be the leader because there's a crisis. Somebody who will step in when there's a crisis, and make something happen. And we really need to value those people, because um, they're acting out of necessity for the greater good, not because this is something they're pursuing. But there are then other people who are very happy to not be leaders. I think we need to be careful about not assuming that the leader is the cleverest person, or the most competent, or the most knowledgeable. That's not true, because you can have a team of people where there are some very, very clever people in the team. They're not the leader, they do not want to be the leader, but the leader cannot do fulfill their project or their goal if those people aren't there to do their role. So I think we need to just see leadership as one of the parts of a good team, or a good company, or society. Leadership is one function, not the most important function, not the most impressive function. We give awards to leaders. We don't give awards to quiet people, but we should. So I was just I live in Cape Town, but I was in Johannesburg last weekend working with a group of people. And I know them well. I've worked with them. They're part of a team, and they're in a very big corporate company here in South Africa. And I know the team leads. I know the people who are responsible for their particular function. But I know that this one guy who's sitting there, he's very quiet. He didn't have to comment. He didn't have to give examples. He wasn't asking questions. But I knew he was still engaging in the content. And then we got to his section, and then he spoke, and he was brilliant. What he had to say was so insightful. And then he was quiet again. So I think, as leaders, as we develop the skill set, one of the things we need to do is look at people who are in our teams, or people who we could bring into our teams, who are very good at what they do. A good leader will be able to identify other people's strengths, and a good leader will be able to
Sure.
help other people to do the best work that they can do for their strength. We don't have to kind of make them do something else. There's a concept we see often in business, and I know it's got a, I think it's called the Pareto. No, it's not. There's a principle in business that says that when somebody's very good at their job, they get promoted to a point where they're now doing work that is not where they're good. So if they're a very, very good salesman, and then you promote them to be the sales manager, they're not a manager. They don't want to do the reports. They don't want to manage other people. They want to be out there selling. So a good leader identifies people and finds ways to reward them in the space that they're at without just trying to give them more money, which we love more money, but it's not just more money and it's not just a bigger title. It's opportunities to do more work that we are good at. So that's good leadership. And how we develop good leadership is being intentional about it, realizing that this is it's a professional development skill, but also something personal. And you can't wait until you are a member of, you're a staff member, you're in a company where there's an HR department and they're going to teach you. Every one of us who is a leader will find ways to develop ourselves. And it would be being on your program is the first step. But reading things, watching things, when you look at other leaders, look at how they're leading and make notes and say, I see what that person did there. I don't think that that was right, or that was really effective. Wow, I want to try that. So you actually want to learn by looking at leaders and identifying the qualities that other leaders had that you want to have. And that's how you can develop your leadership.
That's very much awesome.
Over to you.
So, as a leader, you should learn to spot other leaders. You learn to see
Yes.
potential in
Yeah.
people, no matter what, no matter the situation you are. You should see someone that is doing well and you upgrade the person. You tell the person, go again, you can do better. Even when the person is failing, you should be able to, correct the person because you are the leader, you already have experience in that thing. So, seeing the person not doing so well, you can tell the person, let's do this better, you can improve. And
Okay.
also, another thing that leaders need to do is when you see people, you should share responsibilities with them. In a situation where you see a lot of people, they are always criticizing,
Yes.
criticizing. They feel the work is easy to lead. I've been in so many situations
Yeah.
like that. See people, they're always saying, it's not done that way, it's not done this way. What do you do as a leader?
Mm.
You see such people, not that they are bad people, they are just thinking of, they want to be in your shoes, they want to feel what you are feeling, then give them task. Give them the task. Not that you want to
Yeah.
punish them, but give them the task so that they will know that leadership is not really easy. They will now buckle up
Mm.
and say, yes, what they are doing, like they cannot feel what you are feeling that. Yes, there's a very big responsibility that comes with
Yeah.
leadership. So as a leader,
Yeah.
learn to empower people, learn
Mm.
to empower people. Then another thing is the thing is you cannot do the work alone. No matter
Yes.
how you make it feel that you can do the work alone.
Mm.
When you begin to do the work alone, every other person like they relax, yeah, feel nothing is happening around. But then when you give them a task, when you work with them, you get feedback from them. You ask them, you call them, say, yes, let's try this. Oh, what do you think
Mm.
about it? Oh, what do you think about that? What do you think about this? It's not like you are too hospitable or something. But it's good for you to ask people for feedback. What do you think about this? Before you
Mm.
pay anything, you call people, oh, let's what do you think about this payment? What do you think about? Then they feel like they are part of the team, and that actually helps in the
Yeah.
long run to achieve success. So as a young person, don't as a leader, as a young person, always try to give people hear people's opinion about things. It's not just all about you. It's not just all about what you think.
Mm.
People don't just come to you when you don't care for them. They come to you because you show them love and care. You value them, not just the value of the organization, but you value them
Mm-hmm.
because you know that even after the organization,
Mm-hmm.
there is still something that you have to do together. When people feel like a family in
Yes.
your organization, they have the need and longing to even work with you because you are making them feel like they are part of your family and part of your team. So let's not just work
Yeah.
in work, feel that it's just about position. I'm the leader, the head, I'm this and
Mhm.
that. No, that's not it. What about after the position? After the position, when you are no
Mm.
longer the leader, will they still regard you? Will they still value you? Will they still come to you
Yeah.
even after the position? You will you still be influential as the leader even after the
Yes.
position? Another question you ask. Because we most times after the position, no one regards us anymore. They don't reach out to us anymore. They just feel it's no longer the leader.
Mm.
But when you are a leader, even before the position, when you believe that leadership is related to my life, talking about your life, your leadership is not just all about the position, like leadership is all about my lifestyle, then you will always have a very great success because people will always reach out to you anytime, any day. Still on this great topic, which has to do with magnetism, I would love us to interact on something. I would love to know what you think about this. In leading, how can one develop healthy relationship with his colleagues? This is a very big question because you see some colleagues, they
Mm.
have challenges. They drag over position because someone is the head of the organization and you are not having any any position. Then there
Yeah.
is a rift between the colleagues. Like, why should they appoint him? Why should they appoint her? So love to know, like, how can we develop a healthy relationship in such a situation that is tensed,
Mm.
really tensed, like we are dragging for something?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Okay. So there's obviously many different kinds of relationships. So when you look at leadership, there's a management tool that they use, and they call it's a 360-degree report back. So a person doesn't just get feedback from their bosses to say, this is how you're performing. They also get feedback from their peers, so people at the same level as them, and then they also get feedback from the people that who report to them. So it's all the way around the person. There's 360 degrees of relationships. So when we think about leading, and in terms of leading others, the first thing we need to do is we need to know that there's self leadership. And self leadership says, this is where I am right now in my career, in my life, but I'd like to be further along. And you make a plan to make that kind of progress. So you are responsible for your own development. All right. If your company helps you, that's great, but you are responsible for your own development. So you need to lead yourself into the future. And the minute you start doing that, you realize that you don't always take the best advice. You don't always do the best things. You sometimes lose your temper with somebody that you should not lose your temper with. You sometimes eat food you know that is unhealthy for you, or you drink too much. So we don't always do the best for ourselves, even when we know what is the best. And once you know that, you can be a little bit more gracious towards people around you who are not always doing the best thing that they should be doing. So we can't pretend that we know everything and everybody must just listen to us and obey us, and then they'll all be good, because we are flawed. And if we are flawed, they are flawed, but can we help each other to get better? That is really healthy. All right. So not assuming, first thing is not assuming that we know it all. We're responsible for our own development. And now how can we help others as well? A couple of things. One is, obviously there are other people in our team that we're going to be leading, but don't assume that you know exactly what everybody else should be doing. Leadership is about finding out what they want. So if you are very ambitious and you want to get a promotion and you want to write articles and get published in magazines and you want to be invited to speak and you want this great career and you want to earn lots of money, do not assume that everybody else in the team wants to do the same thing as you, because they might have other goals. So if you want to develop healthy
Sure.
relationships, is work out what do the other people want and how can you help them to do that. So for example, there might be somebody who has some family member that they love who is not well, and what they really want to do for the next 9 months, and I'm not talking about pregnancy, like for the next year, they want to have a little bit of extra time, a little bit less responsibility, so that they can take care of this family member, because that's really important to them. And if a leader can help that to happen, instead of saying, no, you need to be here early and leave late and do extra stuff so that you can earn more money, The person's going, I don't want to earn more money. I need a little bit more time with my family member because they're going to pass away, or they've just been born, or whatever it is. So we need to understand what is important to them. What do they value, and how can we help them? And that might just be a season. So somebody could be going through something difficult. They might be ill. Their partner might be ill. So we're not saying like for the rest of their business life, this person is not going to do anything. It's like, no, it's just the season and time. And seasons come and go. It's winter. How does it go? Winter, spring, summer, fall. It's going to keep changing. It's not always going to be this way. So recognize where people are in their season of life, or in a time. And then another one, and I know this is more like a tactic, but so important to remember, is when you're working with a team of people, even if it's not just your team, even if it's other people, maybe especially if it's other people, other teams that you're interacting with, is when we want to praise somebody, when somebody has done something good, we want to say it to other people, to this person in front of other people, or to other people about this person, so that the person knows that they're being gossiped about in a very positive way. Like, wow, this person just did a great report, or they had to find out some information and they did it really well, or they had a customer interaction which was very difficult and they did such a superb job. So you praise in public so that person knows that they're recognized. We need to be heard and recognized all the time. If there's a problem with that person, if they've done something wrong, if they got angry with a customer, if they really messed up a report that had to go to a board member, you don't say that in public. Okay, we do have to keep to standards. We're not going to pretend everything's good, but you take that person aside quietly and you say, all right, this was what we expected. This is what you gave us. How did you miss the mark? Did I not help you enough? Did you not have the skills or the resources you need? Is there something going on? Do you need to learn something new so that you can be better? Because we need to get you up to this level. Otherwise, it's not going to be good for the rest of the team. And you help that person to get that to that level. But you do that in private, not in public. That's the most important part. So I think that would be, really working towards developing healthy relationships. Over to you, Victor.
Actually,
Good. Sorry, I lost you there for a moment.
awesome, awesome. That's very great. Great woman, Charlotte Kemp. I must say, okay, okay, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Good. I can hear you now. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. So I must say, and I also took some points down, very valuable, where you
Yes.
said that it's not really good. We should actually reward, make them feel recognized. That part I picked it,
Mm.
and this has actually been a very big challenge. Some persons actually feel they are not recognized in that organization.
Mhm.
It's a situation where they bring a lot of ideas. Now they bring a lot of ideas to the leader. Now the leader claims the ideas and make it its own. Then he does not
Mm.
tell the people who actually brought these ideas to the table. So that's actually something that we should, as leaders, do. So in a place where you know that this person brought it, you can say it, mention it, even make the person stand up, make them clap for the person, mention the person's name, make the person happy, like feel really, really happy to be part of a movement. That yes, I'm really part of something, even if I'm not the leader, but I am recognized. That's a very valid point, I must say.
Mm.
And there's a leader in an organization which I belong to who does this particular thing. I'm a kind of person. I love to give ideas. I love to, share my insights and all that. Yes, there are some positions, there are some places that maybe you have great ideas, you share them, they don't value it. It depends on the leader per se,
Mm.
because there are leaders that love to power people Why there are some leaders that love to be autocratic, where they feel they are the only one, that they don't care about others. But a leader that can actually say it in public, make them feel loved and happy, that leader
Mm.
actually becomes magnetic, because that person, even when the person wants to attack the leader, he now becomes the leader's friend.
Mm.
He now cherishes the leader with so much attention, and cares so much about the leader. Person that actually hated the leader at first now begins to love the leader. Imagine such a situation. So it is the way we handle situations like this that determines the result we get along the way. So let's try to bring people closer, reward
Yes.
them, make them feel recognized and special in that particular place. Yes, we want to feel recognized. We want to feel special. We want to be happy that yes, we are working, we are seeing the results, and we are seeing things happening for us. That is just the fact, because we are humans. Another thing, learn to apologize where necessary.
Mm.
Apologize where necessary. You are not apologizing because you are wrong. You are apologizing even in situations where you okay, in a situation where you are not wrong now. You are not wrong now. You are doing well. You are doing very well. You are doing very well, but people are still saying all sorts of things about you. You can still apologize in that situation. You don't always need to be wrong before you apologize. So
Okay.
when you know that this thing is getting out of hand and it's you that's the center of the discussion, learn to apologize as a leader. And just feel free, because position is for a timeline.
Mm.
Position is just for a short time, a short period of time. Before you know, you are out of that position and another person comes into that position. So it is the way you behave in that position that will determine how the next person may even behave in such a situation. So let's try to see how we work on ourselves, apologize when necessary. This is also very important. Since
Yes.
that always argue, those persons that always develop problems every time you are speaking, one thing that you could do for them is to bring them closer. Bring them closer. This is an advice I also have for people to bring them closer in a situation where you bring them close, you ask them, what is actually that challenge that we are having?
Mm.
This thing can actually be
Mm.
settled when we sit down to discuss. But when we know that
Yeah.
this thing is something that we can actually sit down to handle, we discuss, we interact, we share insight. Before you know, things become very easy for us. There are certain things that doesn't need to be taken to the public. There are certain things that can be done in private, and these things can be easily handled. It is just a mere disagreement that can be settled. It is just a
Okay.
mere disagreement that can be settled. So let's try our best to bring people closer, to listen to them and know what Charlotte said as well too. She said that we are not perfect. We are not perfect beings. So meaning that we always make
Mm.
mistakes. We have our flaws. So there are some things that you feel they are right from your own end. But when you are taking these things to the public, they may actually read a wrong meaning to that particular thing. So when they read the wrong meaning to that particular thing, you now begin to say, wow, boy, I said this thing was right. I thought it was right. I thought about it before saying it. But actually, you were wrong, because it was your thought and not a collective thought. So that is where this whole idea of working with people comes into play. In a situation where you have executives, work with your executives, ask them what they think. There is always a meeting before the other meeting. Meeting is
Mm.
where you now determine if this your idea is great enough. You share it with them. What do you think? Will the people buy into it? What are your suggestions? When you begin to take those suggestions out, you bring these suggestions out, you imagine that the teams actually look into it and they notice that there is a comma somewhere. Now they look into it. Okay, there's a comma there. Okay, let's change it. Let's work on it. Not like they are going to cancel it anyway, but they are looking at it and they feel that there is something that they can get from it. And when you now take it to the general house or the public, they will actually buy into the idea, because your executive has supported you. It is no longer you speaking, it is a general speech. People support it because we've all collectively agreed on it. But in a situation where you are on your
Yes.
own, you make your decisions, you don't ask people for feedback, You do things on your own, and then when it now dawns on you that you are the only one handling the situation, then you begin to complain that there is no love anywhere, people don't support you, people don't value you. So the first thing, work on yourself, work on your personal self. Like Charlotte said, work on building a very great executive structure, and now take this to your members to make them understand the vision behind what you are doing. It's very much important. Before you think it's not really easy. It's not really going to be easy building magnetic leadership. But I must tell you that if you can build magnetic leadership, even in your school, in your church, in your
Mm,
workplace,
mm,
anywhere, things will actually work for you. Not just saying that I have a position in my workplace, I'm a magnetic leader. When you are a magnetic leader, even when you go to a place you've not been to before, it will always reflect that you are truly a leader. People to you, to learn from you, to listen to you. They believe that there's something valuable about you because you are truly a magnetic leader. So work on yourself, and you'll be able to build this great form of leadership. Trust me. So this actually leadership is not just all about the position. It's not just all about the position. So understand that you
mm,
need to work with the people. You are working with people. You are not just working with yourself. So if you are going to be working with humans, you have to be humble to understand them and feel like them, and make them understand you very well, that there is something where they will follow you, they will accept you. But they are humans. So definitely
mm.
there has to be something beyond them follow you. So let's work on that. Now, this brings me to this question, which says, how can a leader
Mhm.
become magnetic and loved by his colleagues? How can a leader become
Okay.
magnetic and loved by his colleagues?
I think we need to make sure we know what we mean by magnetic, because very often when we think of a magnetic leader, we think of someone who is very loud and confident and owns the room, and like a flamboyant politician, or like a cult leader. And we don't want to be cult leaders. But I think real magnetism, if you say magnetic and loved, that's a very different thing. All you need to do that is be a leader who actually is concerned for their people. If you are actually concerned for your people and you don't just say it, then you're going to be doing things like making sure you've already said, Victor, empower them, make sure that they have what they need so that they can do the job that they need to do. Um, that they are recognized, like we've said, that we hear them, that if they have complaints, we don't just brush it away. We actually hear what their complaint is. If we are leaders who are concerned about our people, those people are going to want to come back to us. Even if we don't get everything right, they're going to know that this person is in a position of power, of influence, and they care about me. And that is what is going to make you a magnetic leader.
Awesome.
That's it.
Awesome. So learn to understand the situation, understand yourself, understand where you are. And also,
Yeah.
I will share these tips with all of you watching. I can see a lot of comments in the chat box. Maybe I will display some of them for wow, this is great. So I will display some of them on the screen right away. So
Yes.
for all of us to view. Okay, so we have a lot of comments which will be displayed shortly. But before that, I would
Welcome,
love to share
everyone.
some valid points with all of you. So today's topic, which is magnetism. Magnetism is related. You see, a magnet,
Mm,
a magnet. You join one together. They say like charges. Like charges. That's plus and minus, plus and plus. They
yeah.
repel. They repel, but unlike charges attract. Or like charges attract. So magnetism is
Mm,
related to energies. It's the way someone comes to me. This person comes with so much passion. It comes with what I need. comes with what I value,
Yeah.
then I feel that with this person because this person has something very great for me. That means I should not miss out of what this person has.
Mhm.
That's magnetism. So a leader that is magnetic
Mm.
understands that he is working for the people, understands that he has something to offer to the people. He understands that he owes these people respect. He understands that he cannot do it alone. So this brings me to
Mm.
this. The first one: understand your role as a leader. Understand that you were given the role to serve people, to do this and that, but understand that the role has a purpose. Not everyone was given that particular position. You were given
Mm.
because you have something that is different from people out there. You have something that can change the narrative. That is why they gave it to you. So don't just feel that you are the important, you are the most special. No, you should sit down to think about ideas that you can use to change the way things are being done. There are certain positions
Mm.
that people use godfatherism in Nigeria over here. Godfatherism is a very big problem where someone that's supposed to win the position does not win the position. We now give the position to somebody else because this person is the person I love as a leader. I now say, yes, this person should be there. This person enters, and there is already a challenge because the person does not know the problem that we are facing. That is
Mm.
already a very big challenge. But in a situation where we know we know the problems as a magnetic leader, we know the problems we are having, and we understand the people we have, we bring them close to ourselves. We make them understand that we are in a team together. We can do it. We can achieve it. We cannot do it alone, but we can. I will build. I will find a way to make you feel the impact. Then things are already going well. So people should be part of what you are doing. People should feel it. They should love it. They should appreciate it that they are part of what you are doing. But when you make their voices not heard, their voice is not heard, there is already a big challenge. Make them use their gifts to work in that organization. Then they will always appreciate you that you were the one that inspired them to do something that they've never done before. That is a magnetic leader. A person that sees potential, just like Charles said, a person that sees potential.
Mm.
A magnetic leader he can spot other leaders. He can see it in them that this person can be a potential leader. This person
Mm.
is not a competitor, but rather his gifts can be used to achieve success. That is a magnetic leader. So another thing is a magnetic leader should know that there should be room for feedback. That leadership is collective. Leadership is for the collective good and not a one-party system. A magnetic leader should take note of this, that it is for all of us. We are going to achieve it together. And it's yes. Then the next one, give room for people to speak and air their view. Don't tell them, shut up, shut up. We have such situation. Even today, I attended a meeting. I attended a meeting before I came here. And this meeting, you observe that there are some persons, because they have so much money, they are very influential. They are the oldest in the room. So anything they say, they feel that everyone should buy into their idea. Now,
Mm.
what happened? A person was made the vice president of a particular role. Now, this person was made the vice president for a particular role, but he relocated to another place. Now, after relocating to the other place, what happened is he now sent a resignation letter that I will not be able to continue with this role anymore. Now, what happened? The executives sat down and did election even without the members knowing. They've decided that this is what we are going to do, and they did not take it to the members to accept it. The members
Mhm.
have not endorsed it, but just came and announced it that this is what happened. This is our new vice president. What happened? The members were like, no, that is not how it's supposed to be. The members are supposed to be part of the system because we nominated, we elected these persons. Then why should you select someone when we elected the person? Now think about it. So a magnetic leader understands that everyone a vital role in that organization. Even after the executives have sat down to decide on something, it is not final. It should go to the members. The members should be aware of it. Then they should endorse it and support that this is how it's supposed to be. That is it about magnetic leader. A magnetic leader should always support his members, support them to speak up. Someone is trying to say something, you are like, no, no. Then later on, you now begin to say, this is the problem we are facing. Whereas the problem you are facing could have been solved with this person's opinion. This person would have heard his view, and that opinion could have been what we were looking for right from time. But because we never listened to that person decided to seclude himself from the organization's activities, and we have a lot of problem. So a magnetic leader should understand this because people need to feel that they are part of something greater than. Another thing, are you available as a leader? If you are not available for your followers, then there's already a problem. Your followers want to reach out, they want to ask you questions, they want to know whether you are financially accountable. Are you accountable to them? They want to ask you questions. What do you think about this? But you don't respond to them. You're not available to them. You don't pick their calls. You don't ask them for, you don't just respond to them. You feel you are the one making all the decisions. You don't call to ask people. That is already a very big challenge. People need someone they can reach out to. They can tell something. They can tell you that this thing is wrong. Then you begin to reason it that yes, that so these are things that occur. So as a magnetic leader, should be available to your followers. That's a valid point. Make sure you are available to them. Don't snub them. Listen to them, even when they are saying some things that are not really relevant. You may not make all the decisions on your own. You can still take it to your executive to decide on it. Yes, because you are not just the one making decisions on everything. Always try to take it to the executives, and that's it. Then another thing, a magnetic leader should always match his words with his action. A leader is saying, I want to do this. I want us to achieve this. But what happens? What we said we want to achieve, you now begin to do the opposite. That is already a very big challenge. So we don't have to do the opposite of what we plan, but we should work on what we've decided to work on, and make people feel that they are part of it. In time management as well too. A magnetic leader needs to learn to manage time. He should learn how to. He should not breach confidentiality and trust. Also a very valid point as well too. So be a magnetic leader. Be a leader that people see differently. That they have this energy that they feel they do things that they've never imagined before. Think about it, because how can you success if the people don't feel like they are part of something better than them? That is a challenge, and we need to work on it. Now, this brings me to another topic, another great question, which I'm going to ask, which says, how do you feel one can handle follow up and check up on members?
Okay. Victor, I'm just aware of the time, so I want to just okay. I'm just going to answer simply because I think we've addressed a lot of how we could do this. But I think what we
Yes.
need to bear in mind is today is that we need to be respectful of checking up on. So if somebody is not, if they don't want to share with you, if they don't want to tell you what's going on, we can't force them to do that. We have to establish relationship. They need to trust us before they're going to tell us anything personal or anything they're struggling with. But I think like we've already said with being a magnet, demonstrating your commitment to the people in your team or the people you're working with. And when you do that, it's so much easier to check up on them.
The other thing is to know that even if on the whole, we're dealing with responsible people who want to make progress. On the whole, most people want to do the right thing. When we're treated like children, we will act like children. So that is an old style of leadership where a leader came along and said, that's naughty and you shouldn't do that. When we're condescending like that, we're going to lose any respect, let alone magnetism. So I think respect for the people in the team as not just as people who want to do well, but as adults, as grown-ups. We're not treating them like children. We've got no place in the future for people like that.
Awesome.
But I can also, when you want to go into the next one, I'd really like to talk about some of the future issues that we can consider.
Awesome. Awesome. So, very great one as well too. We should respect one another. It's a very valid point. And yes, very valid point. Thank you so much, Charlotte Kim. As for me, I'm learning a lot. I do believe that the
Uh,
audience are also learning a lot as well too. So, I'd love to know, because I know you have an organization which you are leading. As a leader, I'd love you to share some strategies that you've used to take your organization to the next level. You could share some of these strategies so the young persons watching can also learn something today.
Thank you. All right. So we didn't go through much of my CV or anything like that, but I have been president. I'm in South Africa, so president of the Professional Speakers Association of Southern Africa, and president of the Global Speakers Federation. So that's an international body. And I've held leadership positions in other places and been on boards. Um, and yeah, a lot of those are volunteer roles. So my personal strategy suggestion to you is if you want to become a leader and you don't have an opportunity in your company, in your organization where you're employed, then find something voluntary to get involved in. Like Victor said, maybe it's a church or a local body or something like Toastmasters or a club, that find a way to get involved and find a way to get a leadership position so that you can learn those skills, and then you can go back into the workplace and you can really use those skills. But in terms of taking the organization to the next level or taking yourself to the next level, um, I want to suggest that you actually think of yourself as a futurist. So I'm a professional futurist. I've studied, I've written books, I've got programs that I teach. I belong to the Association of Professional Futurists. So I take this seriously, but I honestly believe that every one of us is a natural futurist. And if you're on this webinar today, if you've been following this program, you're anticipating the future that you want and you're learning the skills, which means you are a futurist. So if we want to take ourselves and our organizations into the future, there's some skills that you can learn. And if you connect with me on LinkedIn, I'll be happy to send you some resources that you can read and look at. But one of them would be a very, very simple one is kind of draw up, we call them scenarios. Draw up a scenario of where, I beg your
Sorry.
pardon, of
Sorry.
where you, your organization, if you look at your business plan, that's one scenario. That's like, this is where we're going. We need to make these sales, etc. Draw up a business plan where everything goes wrong, where this is terrible. Like, we do not want to work in a company like this. We do not want our organization to go in this direction. And then draw up another scenario where everything is brilliant. Like, wow, this would be fantastic. This is just an exercise in imagination. You just draw up those three scenarios, and that immediately starts to tell you the things you should avoid, the places you don't want to go, the skills that won't be around in the future. And then you start looking at the one where it's really brilliant. This is where you really want to go. And then you're going to start thinking about, I need this experience, I need this skill, or I need that kind of a person on my team. Or we don't have the right people in this company to take us to the next level. We need to recruit people, but you can't recruit people when you're at the situation. You have to recruit them beforehand. And if you are a really significant leader, then one of the things you do is you don't look at what's going to happen in my year and next year. You look at what's going to happen in 5 years' time. Who do we need to recruit and bring into the organization generally, so that in 5 years' time they're ready to lead and go further? That is really significant leadership. Victor, are you there? Can I hand back to you?
Yeah, yes, I'm
There we
here.
are.
I'm here. Thank you so much, Charlotte Kemp. I must say I've learned a lot, and I also believe the audience are following very well. I can still see a lot of comments, which I will display on the screen
Good.
after this stream. So a lot of people struggle with shyness. They struggle with shyness.
Mm,
Like I've met a lot of young persons, and they will say, "I don't think I can lead. I'm shy. I
mm,
don't want to come out. I prefer to just be on my own. I prefer to just hide myself, hide my gifts. I don't really see the need to do that." Yeah, I try to tell them, talk to them. You don't need to be perfect. You just have to come out. Like you're building a skill. You need to do this and that. But a lot of them still shy away from it. So I feel that, I felt that this question should be a very valid question to be asked today. And I would love to know your take on how young
mm.
persons can actually come out of that shy situation, or um, how can a young person who is struggling with shyness really lead? Like how in such a situation, how can a person really build his leadership skill?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, right back in the beginning, we were talking about everybody is an upfront leader. There are lots of ways of leading from supporting people. So if a person is shy and they don't want to be leading from the front, then we can't make them do that because they will then not be effective. If we push somebody into a situation that they don't want or they're not ready for, it will hurt. It will hurt them psychologically, and they won't be any good for the role. So we shouldn't try and compel people. Some people, they might be shy for a period of time, and then they have an experience, and then they go, "Oh yes, now I want to. I want to step forward." But I think what we should really look at. So if you are the shy person and you say, I want to do something, but I don't have the skills, or I don't want to lead, or I don't want to be given too much responsibility, then put your hand up very quietly for a small task. Because in any project, in any organization, there are thousands of things that need to be done. And you can say, I can do this one thing, just this one thing. No, don't ask me to do anything else. I didn't put my hand up for that. This one thing I can do, and I'll take charge of it, and I'll make sure it happens properly. And just do that one thing. And if you do that one thing that you are good at and that the organization needs, then that's really significant. Because if you don't do that, then somebody who's not good will try and do it. They won't do it well. They'll do it half-heartedly. It'll get messed up. But you can add real value by doing one thing. So let's not put too much pressure on too few people, because that is one of the biggest leadership problems we really have, is that magnetic, significant, energetic leaders take on too much. And they see something needs to be done and nobody's doing it. So they go, I'll do it as well. And I'll do that as well. And I'll do that as well. And then they're doing too many things that they're not good at doing. They're not doing it properly. And other people who could add real value are kept out because the leader is holding on to too many things. So a really good leader would be delegating. A really good leader will say, these 5 tasks need to be done. They're really important. I'm not going to do them. And then just wait for the people to volunteer, or go and quietly ask somebody to volunteer. But that is how shy people can get involved in something that is important without them having to be upfront, without them having to be a leader, and without them having to have pressure that they're not ready to have. That, I think, is the best thing to look at.
That's awesome. I must say, so as a shy person, you need to embrace responsibility.
Yeah,
Don't shy away. Just accept one responsibility, one task at a time.
that's it.
Then as a leader, learn to say no at some point.
Mm,
Don't accept all the responsibilities.
good.
Learn to say no as a leader as well too. So this brings me to another question, which has to do with political apathy.
Mm,
Yes, a lot of people don't really value politics. So I would love to know, how can a person overcome political apathy? How can a person overcome political apathy in a situation where he has made up his mind already? And what can good leaders or what can a leader do to change the narrative of such a person?
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Um, so as a futurist, I've looked at a couple of years ago. I looked at the world, and I know that there's conflict in different places and political conflict in different places, but it was kind of like it was reserved to that area, to that country. And while it's tragic for the people who are happening there, it doesn't really affect anybody else. And I was very naive in thinking that because we have access to the internet and information, we can see what's going on, that people will be responsible and that we won't have the kind of situations we're having today. But I was wrong. I was wrong, and I'm sorry. It is, there are some things happening around the world, in conflict, in genocide, in the northern hemisphere, but in Africa as well, in different parts of Africa. These things are happening in our own countries. These things are happening, and I really think we should not be apathetic. The reason we do is because we think this doesn't apply to me. It's not here. It's too big. I can't do anything. It's too far away. I can't do anything. Or it's too sensitive. There's such huge political divides these days. So when my father came for lunch last week, we were saying let's not talk about certain issues, because if we do, I'm on one side, my father's on the other side, and we're going to have an argument. and
Definitely.
and he's my father, and he's too old for me to argue with him and try and change his mind. Um, and I've gone through what I need to do to make sure I know what my position is on this issue. So sometimes when we're faced with somebody who thinks differently from us, we can't change their mind, or we shouldn't get involved in an argument like that. But we cannot afford in 2025 to be apathetic about things that are going on in the world. We have to make a stand, because if we don't make a stand, there are people who will take advantage, and what they're doing is not acceptable. I am not entirely sure how to do that in different places. Now, obviously, for some people, that means they get involved in actual politics. For other people, it means making statements of support, or supporting people who are taking actions to fix things, or to fight back against certain kinds of political beliefs. Um, this is like the most difficult question, Victor, of all of them. But I think the very first part. Okay, I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what my answer is. This is my answer. Okay. How do you overcome political apathy? What you do is think about any situation in your city, in your country, or anywhere in the world, and you go, that's the problem, and this is what I believe. Okay, and the minute you do that, think, okay, well, define that, explain, write it down exactly what you believe. Then go and find people who believe opposite to you, who believe the opposite thing. So for me, it would be my father, except I'm not going to do it with my father. I'll do it with somebody else. Okay. You find that person and you ask them, explain to me why you believe that. Don't argue with them. You're not trying to convince them. You're not trying to show that they're wrong. You're not trying to embarrass them. You're really sitting down very respectfully and saying, tell me why you believe that. I tell you, if I don't know, if a small percentage of people in every country sat down and talked to somebody who thought opposite to them and just listened and heard what they had to say, we would change the politics of the world. I'm convinced of this, because a lot of people who take extreme positions do it because they're not being heard, because they feel threatened, because something that they have, they feel like it's going to be taken away, that they're going to be in danger. And so they react badly. If we can start listening to each other, we will have more respect for each other, and we'll know how to support each other instead of having conflict. And I think that would be the biggest thing. So we do not have to go into politics. We do not have to do a rally. We do not have to stand up and wave flags necessarily, but we need to have a conversation with people who believe opposite to us and hear what their problems are. And can we help them? Can we comfort them? Can we answer them? And support them where they're at? That will be the challenge to address political apathy. There you go, Victor.
Awesome. must say once more, thank you so much, Charlotte. Today has really been a very interactive session. It has been filled with a lot of practical strategies, a lot of practical steps to improve ourselves. And I must say, it has been filled with so much to learn. And yes, I do believe once more that our audience are following very well as well too. So once more, thank you so much, Charlotte Kemp.
Thank you. It's been my
And
pleasure.
before we wrap up, yeah, greatly welcome. Greatly welcome. So I want to say a big thank you to our audience, everyone that followed today's program. Well, I can see some comments. So let me see if I can share some of them. Okay, so I have some comments in the chat box. So
And you can tell your
first
followers they're
one
happy, they're welcome to
we
connect
have.
on LinkedIn as well.
All right. I will do that as well too. So for everyone that joined today's program, feel free to follow Charlotte Kemp on LinkedIn. Follow her on LinkedIn. She's a very great and impactful person. She's very hospitable, I must say.
Thank you.
Okay, so I can see Hassan Musa. He said nice. Oh, thank you so much, Hassan Musa. We have Dashani Sivakuma, very great woman. Yeah, greetings to everyone. Once more, greetings to you as well too. I have Omonye Osegale, great topic for discussion. You are greatly welcome, Omonye Osegale. We have Hamza Musa, which said very educating topic. Okay, thank you so much, Hamza Musa. We have Ezea Rita Chiamaka. Yeah, greatly welcome. Said a great session. She really enjoyed this session. There are a lot of persons who also watched today's session as well too, and I believe that they learned a lot from today's session. Yes, Charlotte Kemp has a wealth of experience. She has achieved a lot, and she's
Mhm.
filled with so much insight. And yeah, so it was really impactful, I must say. And once more, I must say that even after this, we have a lot we have to achieve together because we are building something very great, and definitely anticipate the great opportunities coming through Future Setters Institute as well too. And I want you all to know that the second cohort of Future Setters Personal Growth Challenge is wrapping up next week. So by next week, we'll be having our last class, and our last class is on coaching and speaking ethics, which is going to take place on this week, Saturday. So our last class. We're also going to be featuring our students of the second cohort very soon. We'll be featuring them in our live session very soon as well too. So do it to anticipate this great program. It's going to be with so much, and you are going to be learning a lot. I do believe those that joined the first cohort students, about 4 to 5 of them who spoke in our youth development show. I know they saw the change in all of. They learned a lot as well too. Then also the third cohort is going to be starting next month, which is October. So if you want to be part of our third cohort, also reach out to me, reach out to us as well. So if you have any form of interest in our third cohort, you can reach out to us as well too. Okay, so we have Bernard Oyimoje said, I just joined. So you have Bernard. Okay, welcome, Ohi Mode. You're welcome. So our program holds every Sunday by 3 p.m. West African time. I do sincerely appreciate each and every one of you for being with us, and look forward to having you next week, Sunday by 3 p.m. West African time again, because next Sunday is going to be power packed. It's going to be power packed because we are going to be having a medical doctor in our midst in the person of Asia Kakani. I hope I pronounced the name well anyway, but she's going to be joining us next Sunday for a very great and impactful session as well too. So once more, thank you so much, Charlotte Kemp. Before we wrap up, I would love you to give the young persons watching right now an advice, maybe for 1 minute. You just share an advice for everyone who watched you right now. Yes. All
I
right.
can. one piece of advice for everyone listening is that you do make a difference. And if more people speak up and do the things that they believe to be right for the world, it does make a difference. When we sit back and we say we don't like what is happening, but we don't do anything, then it's going to carry on. So it doesn't matter if your action is small to start with, we need to actually take action. And that is how we personally grow, professionally and personally, but it's also how we help to change the world that we're in. So take action. Don't sit back and watch other people do it. There you go.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much once more, Charlotte Kemp. I appreciate you for this session.
My
Shout
pleasure.
out to Longton Enterprise. Shout out to Barai Enterprise. Shout out to Symbiosis Infinity Group. Shout out to all the great minds that have supported us in one way or the other to ensure that our Future Success Institute program ongoing and we still keep with the pace no matter what. And thank you for staying with us even when we didn't start on time. We do apologize